I wanted to do just another quick additive on this video to help you to understand why I knew things that were coming beforehand as it relates to the seven sisters of Pleiades and Theta and the comet Atlas and Aries pandemic. The pandemic was the second war horse of Aries and Biden and everything on all the videos. So I knew this a year ago what was coming, approximately a year ago. And I was trying to warn everybody of this. But another thing to understand, because remember I've said this is very difficult to understand prophecy. To understand prophecy is probably the most difficult to understand, because you first have to have knowledge of all things, and the only way you can do this is to have God on your side, because remember, nothing is hidden from Him, and He can reveal everything through the Word, just like I've taught. So understanding that in all the things that were unfolding at that given time, the blue waves, the red waves, and as I had pointed out, like in the times of Noah's with the giants and the floods, several months ago, before the election ever occurred, and how Atlas and the locusts, Atlas was the father of Pleiades, and Locust releases Pleiades and the parallels within. But here's another piece, just another deeper understanding of why these things were happening that I knew. So the seven sisters of Pleiades have many names, and I've pointed this out, depending on where they're at. But one of their names also, and this is extremely important, and that's why I saw so many, and I pointed out, everything around you is multifaceted. You have to be able to see and have complete discernment. And you don't have complete discernment unless God allows you to. So you have to have a deep relationship with Him. So the seven sisters of the Pleiades, one of their other names is Messier 45. Understand what this means. And as it relates to Scripture, the Proverbs chapter 6, the Scripture there that I pointed out. And as it relates to 45, remember Trump was the 45th president. I've showed the numbers parallel, the discernment of the word and the names parallel, and all these factors coming together. And this is just one more. So I'm giving you one more piece to that puzzle of understanding prophecy and discernment of the word. So 45 represented Trump as the 45th president. But not only that, more importantly, Messier, which is the other name for the seven sisters of the Pleiades, means confusion, to be confused, as if confused. So you have to realize there were so many factors that all had to come together in a given time for this to occur. All these spiritual things needed to happen for it to go in a negative direction. And it did, because again, as I pointed out, evil was invited in. With the medicines, with the hate, with the fear, everything was falling in alignment There are so many things that were occurring, but that's just another piece of it. Realize Trump's involvement. And not only that, here's another piece that I didn't point out before. Remember, I stated that Trump's campaign slogan was "Come hail or high water." So I needed to figure out, I'd already understood what his campaign was about: division. He was still creating that division and strife, which is not a godly thing. He's proud. That is not a godly thing. As 1 Corinthians chapter 13 reveals what being godly means, what it means to know God and understand God. So his campaign slogan was "Come hail or high water." Very important, because the 7 sisters of Pleiades, which I knew had been released with Atlas, represent one of the things, or 2 of the things that they actually represent, is hail and waters. Understand that. This is why I knew. And you had the blue wave, the red wave. There were so many things happening and falling into place. This is what prophecy is. True prophecy, true discernment. So understand again, Messier 45, confusion of the 45th. But also, come hail or high water. What his campaign slogan was, he was calling for come hail or high water. These are 2 representations of the 7 sisters of the Pleiades. So he was, like I said, he won. You just didn't understand what he was campaigning for. He was campaigning for hail and high water, which is a representation, another representation of the 7 sisters of the Pleiades. So you got to dig deep, people. I don't expect you to understand what I understand. I know it's not possible. I have a lot of these false prophets and ministers out there trying to guess. They hitting and missing. And they trying to teach some of what I'm teaching, and they just get it wrong because they don't have true discernment, and they'll call themselves prophet, and they're totally off. So, because again, they seek to self-glorify, and their master is the almighty dollar, the serpent and the rod. And none of those things I desire. I only seek the Lord, and that's what you should do. Seek the Lord in all that you do, know what He is, and be good in all your works and words, just as 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 states. Stay in the Word, people. God bless.